seeing them as perfect and wishing to be of their benefit. But that's what got me to leave them. It's like, oh, okay, they don't want me, so I'll just go where I'm wanted. And if I'm not wanted anywhere, then I guess I'll just be with myself. And here I am with Ray and with you and with all that is, and it's been wonderful. And people have been giving us money and love, and we've been channeling and activating energies for beings, transmuting things everywhere we go, and learning more and more teachings on perfect flow and everything that is. And so that's really an amazing blessing, and I'm very happy to be experiencing it. With Miss Ray and with myself and with everything. When I did that, I could see her. Oh, there she is, the most beautiful woman in the world. I love you, Ray. You're the greatest. Thanks for being with us. Oh, she's been helping me study so much. Her being, allowing me to express in ways I'd never expressed before. And because she's so amazingly beautiful and amazing in her reflection, so honest, I can see the honesty of how she receives me authentically, and that I am really beautiful. And the way she sees me, I was already able to see me before she was provided to me to reflect to me how I'm able to see me. But once it became true of me, a being that could reflect the truth of me to me externally came, just as all the other teachings did. As I married myself here, eventually I was able to marry myself out here in another being physically on a golden access point of energy that came from me and reached the sky as we came together like puzzle pieces, and I got as close to me as I could ever possibly be, geometrically, to the smallest amount of my frequency. To me, it was as if we were literally the exact same being. And I guess that's what we all are, so that was true. But I thought it in a much more intimate way at the time, and maybe that was true for that moment, and maybe that was true for eternity, I don't know. But either way, I can look through the determinations of all the other experiences of my reality, and so I can come to a great amount of articulation and specificity to the trueness of what was actually occurring. And I would love to do that with all of you more specifically. It seems as though we don't have the time right now, even though it seems as though actually that's all we have is time. And so that's one of the things we said earlier. The Buddha told us that the biggest mistake is to thinking that we do have time. And so I kind of contradicted that just now. But I mean, the time that he was talking about was the time that we could have this channel happen later. But here we are now, so we might as well do it while we're here present. Why wait for tomorrow? Here we are in this moment. Though when I did say that we were running out of time, it was more like, I'm becoming tired and I don't know that we'll keep speaking this, but I've been saying that for a long time. I said goodbye maybe an hour ago, who knows. But anyways, we just keep going, you know. We can't really write the way the moment rolls itself. It just does itself. And I hope that all of these things that are being said are in some way beneficial to somebody, and that it's not redundant and looping and making you think that I just like the sound of my own voice, which I actually do like the sound of my own voice. I do. I didn't always. I used to try to make my voice any other voice, so much to where that's the reason why the accents come through. I really don't have my own accent or my own voice structure stylized uniquely to an ego persona. I was never given that. I was always harmonizing with other beings for the needs of safety. And so I never really got to create my own character back then. So now I'm just a very formless character that's very versatile and makes many accents and many different ways to express. And actually, each one of the accent expressions helps me stay in the center of the moment in a really huge way. So I ride it and trust it and allow it, and just kind of do it the same way I do this one. So if you think I'm just being different characters and being inauthentic, it's really just that I don't have a formed character to really sew myself into, so I just trust the moment to form me, and I have no problem dramatizing or being this accent or that accent, and I really do embody the accent and the expression of that energy while I'm doing it, and for me it feels just as me as anything else that I may be doing, so I don't think I'm playing a character personally, but that I am just so formless and versatile that I am a being that has many goofy accents and ways in which to express itself, and I accept that, really, I do. And I can say of all the reasons why that could be possibly brought to me to be this way, the neuroses and the wisdom of my previous nature through anxieties, fears, and wishing to be accepted by other beings, causing me to form myself so drastically and emergency style like, to where it was very of the highest necessity to me. But this was very beneficial in coming to such hypersensitivity and awareness to allow me to exist so subtly and then expand myself to such high points in awareness. So thank goodness for my insanity, that's for sure. I no longer pushed that away from me. I was allowed to be crazy, but in a much more centered and balanced way than previously what seemed to be on the precipice of my mind while I was forcing that away from me, creating the reverberation of the necessity of it being possibly with me in my realms of awareness, actually authentically. So luckily I stopped fighting insanity and I became me. And even though I may be crazy, it's in such a centered and balanced way, nothing will ever commit me, so thank goodness for that. I mean, originally I decided that things would think of me as probably insane or crazy for the things I've come to believe and what I've come to express in the way that I have. But then I realized that because the insanity of me isn't volatile and doesn't want to hurt anything and just simply expresses the perpetuation of unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception, that would probably be accepted and that it wouldn't be seen to be harmful, so there'd be no reason to govern me and my insanity, so no big deal for that. That's another thing I came to realize was that because I am so honest and authentic, and I know this of myself, other beings will either have to believe that I'm lying or that I'm completely crazy. And if they know me long enough, they'll know that I'm not lying, and then they'll just have to believe me completely crazy. And eventually, after knowing me for a long time, they'll see that I'm probably the most centered and balanced crazy person they've ever met. That I might even seem more centered and balanced than them in my craziness. So eventually their own judgment of me will fall over itself and the wisdom might actually be applicable that I've been saying for many years around them that they haven't been believing because they thought I was an insane person. Or they really do think I'm a liar, and then I'll feel their disrespect and whatever that is, and I won't want to be around them for sure. But I don't expect anybody to believe me. In fact, it doesn't matter if you believe me. You'll never know what I say through belief alone. You have to go in for yourself and directly experience this. If a being isn't willing to actually do this and wants me to repeat this to them over and over again, making me a slave to the liberation of the reality, to constantly remind them of something, I'm going to free myself from that slavery and say, please just, go find out for yourself. You've got this. I love you. I'm going to go do my thing. Sometimes I've reminded being so ridiculously often that it's like, okay, wait a minute, hey, what's happening here? And they want me to think with them, and thinking's cool, we can all think together, but I've already told them what I need to say. Why do they want me to repeat it over and over and over again? I mean, I have no problem doing this, I will do this, but still, it's just very interesting. So if I give you the key and medicine ceremony and you're not willing to work through the things I told you about, I don't know how long I'm going to want to keep repeating it to you. In fact, if I've said it to you in a really polite, nice way, more than one time, I'm probably going to become more quick and harsh about it as we go on, because apparently, you didn't get it the first time. I told you already, I don't know. And so if you didn't get it the first time, then I'm just going to tell it to you in a more direct way, in a more direct way, in a more direct way. And I'm pretty sure that I always say it the first time in a very direct way, but each time I'll show you the level of seriousness of what I'm saying if it becomes more serious. And if not, then totally cool. But sometimes it does, and so I guess this is a time to bring that into awareness and expression. This has happened with deep friends of mine, and it's always happened on time. Like, not in a way that was like without relevance or where it just seemed mean or out of place, but in a way that made sense, and I was able to express the entirety of it, so it's not like it just come out of nowhere with no closure or explanation as to why. I will explain myself. There's a lot of people that don't like to explain themselves. I really think that it's because they can't, that they've never thought about explaining themselves, and so they don't have the ability, and they're really fired up, and so they really want to stick to being fired up, and so you challenging them with having them explain themselves is, not going to let them stand in that sturdy and confidence and going place that they're trying to stand in. So they get quite offended. I think that I was this way myself even, and that there could be many other reasons, not just that one, as that would be really silly of me to think that that one way is the only way, as so many things do think now today about their particular purest way, what they think to be the best way. The Buddha said there was 10,000 ways. Surely that was just a little sweet approximation just to kind of boast at a number that seemed high at the times. But again, surely there's a way to match every being entirely. So that's, billions, quadrillions, trillions, just numbers not even created. There's so many beings, so many ways then to realize liberation. Yes, we're all unique. We'll never walk the same path of another being without being exactly that being. We've already maybe spoke about this in atomic structurings, that if my body vibrated similarly enough to yours, it's probable that my atoms would merge with yours. No, that would be fucking weird, and I don't know how we would arrange ourselves in a way to make a working being, maybe like Siamese twins or something, but yeah, not so great, obviously. So anyways, we're unique. And the only way for you to experience what I've experienced is to be me specifically, exactly where I've been for the entirety of my journey, but not even the entirety of my journey from the start of this life, but from the start of my mind stream, however many eternities ago it may seem away. And also for me to be you or anything. Yeah, we have lines that last a very long time, and we'll be able to understand what that means, again, much more specifically as we continue along with this video and learning and sharing. Now, this understanding, again, is the sharing of an awareness that for many of you will be reminding you of things you've already directly experienced. And for some of you, and perhaps many of you as well, you've never heard of these things before in your life. And so this is the beginning of that. Now, for those that it's reminding, it will be able to stir you and bring you into some form of confirmation and confidence on the continued learning and growth of your particular placement in consciousness to yourself and your awareness. And for those other ones, it will be an activation and empowering that is a providing of viewing that can open up the direct experience for you of having the alignment and similar understandings come into fruition into your being and your knowing of yourself and your identity actually, authentically, who you really are truly, and thus what everything is. And so again, even though I be giving you these activations, these teachings, these realizations, sharing these experiences, you will still need to go inwards to your heart space and to the knowing that is within you and have these direct experiences authentically arise. And if you could do for the whole of eternity, for the benefit of all beings everywhere without one exception, these experiences will rise very quickly, very spontaneously, very abruptly. It will shake you from the foundation of what you believe you once knew, but it will bring you into an amazing view that is the greatest of all treasures as well. And so it's just up to you, whenever you feel authentically as if this is something you wish for, that's the time. And if you don't feel like that ever, then that's no problem. However you are is amazing. So know that you are perfect, and also everything else is. And even if you don't believe that, that's perfect too. I love you, each and every one of you, authentically, unconditionally, as the eternity of all of one being expressing the conglomeration of all of its multiplicity through a singular point of focusing. Thank you so much. Oh gosh, I love this coffee. How amazing is this coffee? How phenomenal is this amazing journey? Not all of us to this phenomenal place. Right now, I am looking for a tobacco stick, which should have been nearby, but has gone away. Did I put it over here just a second ago? Did I smoke the whole thing? Perhaps I did. Alright, well, I'll roll another. We've been here for a long time together. Take out this marijuana real quick. Oh, it feels like it burnt out while I was sitting here, like it was smoking while I wasn't smoking it. Well, hey, when that happens, it's such a waste, and, well, I just don't have a lot of marijuana. If I had a bunch of marijuana,